What is going on, YouTube? PPS back here. It is the 14th of June, coming at you live with our player prop of the day. I have two pitching props today coming at you. No hit parlays, no team totals. We're coming at you with the stuff that we made our money on most when we first started capping, which was our pitching props. And I got two of them for you today, one over, one under. My favorite guy to fade is on the board. So I'm very excited to get back to fading this man. And I'm sure you guys already know who I'm talking about. But let's get right into our recap from yesterday. Very good day overall for me, honestly. I think about 6 units profit over on our VIP Telegram over there. So I was very good to start the week off. And also, we kept our streak alive, right? I mean, once you get past 6 losses, it's kind of done. You can't really go on that run there. But Altuve, Kettle Marte, both of them cash in for us. I believe it was the first at bat for Altuve, second at bat for Kettle Marte, and then the Diamondbacks absolutely implode. 3 runs in the 5th inning, end up pushing this one, which is why I kind of liked this one over the -1 or the -half of a run there on the run line. I think this was the better spot there. Obviously, these numbers are going to move a lot, guys. I'm posting these at like 8 a.m., 8:30. Obviously, if you have questions about taking the stuff, just DM me over on Twitter. Like I said, I try to get back to every single person who shoots me a DM, unless you're like one of those weird books that try to get me to promote. I don't really do that very much at all. So currently now we are on a 19-5 run. We split our pass the prop plays yesterday. So everything on the free plan has been pretty good, and I look forward to keeping this rolling. And let's get right into it. I'll get right into one of my favorite plays of the day. This is a FanDuel line here for you guys. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Dylan Cease over 7.5 Ks. It's going to be -111, 1.5 units. And I really like this spot for Dylan Cease facing off against the lowly Detroit Tigers, who actually hit Lance Lynn pretty well, but Lance Lynn is not anywhere in the same stratosphere as Dylan Cease when it comes to stuff, right? Dylan Cease so far this year, he's had a couple struggle games. I get it. I mean, his last game, he had 8 Ks through 4 innings, and then Jake Berger makes that error, and the inning implodes, right? So he actually had a 0 ERA against the Dodgers, had 8 Ks through 4 innings, and then a 45-pitch 5th inning that could have been done with after like 18. So I was watching that game. I did have money on Cease there, and that did end up cashing. But just looking into his numbers here, his strikeout rate is elite as always, right? Lefties, he strikes out at a 31% clip. Righties, 34%. On the road this season, 29% K rate. Only a 227 batting average allowed. The biggest thing is the walks, and everybody knows that. And I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But even looking at his underlying numbers, he has a 307 FIP. He's leaving guys on base at a very high rate, which is very good. And just not really allowing that hard of contact, at least so far this season. I know last year he did have a little bit of trouble with the home run ball early on in the season. But right now, Dylan Cease is pretty much as good as it gets for stuff-wise in the MLB. And I will get into a little bit why I even like this spot even more for Dylan Cease. And that's why we're facing off against the lowly Detroit Tigers. If you look at some of the metrics that we're really wanting to know about, the Tigers are the worst team in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching. They also are absolutely terrible in pretty much every other statistical category that we're going to look at here. We look at the Tigers. They have a 34.6% hard hit rate. That is 4% lower than the major league average. We look at the batting average. They bat 220. The major league average is 242. There's just pretty much every statistical category that we want to be good at. They are not. Their expected slugging, 388. The MLB average, 438. We look at even the expected batting average is 11 points lower than the MLB average there. So they are very, very much underachieving so far this year. And then this is the biggest numbers that we're going to need for Dylan Cease to get deep in this game and for him to get to the strikeouts. And that's the plate discipline, right? We look at the whiff rate. They're 2% higher than average, 27.5 whiff percentage versus 25.5 for the MLB average there. And the biggest one here is going to be the chase percentage, right? 32% chase rate, 4% higher than the MLB average there. There's just a lot of stuff here. And when you have Dylan Cease, a guy who has an unbelievable arsenal, slider, curveball, an elite fastball, spin rate is unbelievable on that pitch. It's going to be very hard for these guys to make contact with Dylan Cease. Obviously, I get it. Dylan Cease has had these blow-ups in the past, but that's all based on walks. And if you have a team that's going to chase, those close pitches are going to go his way. And I think one of my favorite things that Dylan Cease has done this year is actually use that changeup a lot, right? And that changeup is absolutely devastating. It's about 77 to 80, and it's just got that full arc, nice roll-off, good sink, and that's coming off of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, there's no way, unless you're guessing that that pitch is coming, that you're making contact with that. So I love Dylan Cease today. I think that he is an absolute smash spot today. It really comes down to, can he attack the zone? Can he make these Detroit Tigers guys swing and miss outside of the zone? Because you know that not everything is going to be there, right? He has the ability to walk multiple guys in this game. But I think Dylan Cease gets this job done here against the lowly Detroit Tigers. And here we go. My favorite fade of always, Antonio Senzatela at home versus the Cleveland Guardians. And really, this was the only spot that I could go, because every other fade that I usually do on Antonio is juiced to the max, right? His under 2.5 strikeouts juiced to minus 160. His over hits allowed 6.5 minus 160. So those are my two usually that I go to, but I think this is just as good, right? He's hit this number in 7 of 10 going under. We're facing off against a really tough team in the Cleveland Guardians here, who are the second best batting average against right-handed pitching so far this year. And obviously, Antonio Senzatela is not very good. He had his best outing of the year last game, but that doesn't really scare me off of what he has anyway here. Like I said, when you have a team that does not strike out, you're going into Coors Field, and you have a team that's just completely balanced, right? You have a guy who doesn't strike out. So you have Steven Kwan. You have Jose Ramirez, who has one more strikeout than home run this year. You got Straw at the top of the order. Ahmed Rosario is finally starting to hit the ball well here in a team that does draw walks, right? And that's going to be huge because Antonio Senzatela is going to attack the zone, and they're going to make you work, right? I've watched Ahmed Rosario, because he's on my fantasy team, so many times. And that dude literally gets to 8 pitch at-bats and so many of his plate appearances so far this season. The Guardians are very, very good at being very disciplined at the plate. One of the better plate discipline teams on Baseball Savant, if you want to look over there for those numbers. But this is just an absolutely terrible matchup here. Senzatela is obviously not good, but obviously his last outing, he was in San Francisco. You can be a little bit more aggressive when you're in San Francisco instead of Coors Field, right? And yeah, there's no way that I see Antonio Senzatela succeeding against this team. And even if you want to go even into more numbers here, I mean, he got absolutely shelled by the Giants twice so far this year. Before that last outing, obviously, I mean, he even got blown up by the Tigers, the team I just talked to you about being the lowliest WRC plus against right-handed pitching. He got blown up. He had 5 innings, 3 Ks, 5 earned, 10 base runners. It's just, he has gone over the 2.0 whip, meaning 2 guys on base, walks or hits in 4 of his last 6 outings. There's just so many things that he does poorly. And this Cleveland team is not the team you want to be able to put extra guys on base, allow to get deeper into games. Because if you're going to give me in the 4th inning, him at 75 pitches, and you're going to have to come up against Ramirez for the 3rd time, dude, this is not where you want to be at all. And I love this Guardians team. Take care of business today. And I think that we continue this run because I love this Guardians team. You guys have seen me back them in the strikeouts. You've seen me back them in the hits. You've seen me back them pretty much every single spot when it comes to hitting, because these guys are just good. They're just good all-around hitters. Besides Jose Ramirez, there's really no stud on this team. They're just good all around. They're able to do their jobs. And obviously, Antonio Senzatela is my favorite fade of all time. So let's get right into a quick recap here. We're going back to Dylan Cease, over 7.5 strikeouts. And we're going to Antonio Senzatela, under 15.5. I'm usually always used to saying over earned runs allowed or over hits allowed. So it's weird to actually say it under here, but under 15.5 outs recorded. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back here tomorrow, as always, with Pass the Prop on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you have that notification bell on there, because we're going to be making money over here on Pass the Prop tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the best, and hopefully we can get another 2-0 sweep to continue this run of 19-5 in our last 13. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and best of luck on your bets. Peace.